tonight on CBC Vancouver News.
So close to Christmas, I just feel for the family. It's a tough one.
Tragedy in Chilliwack. A mother is killed by a falling tree after days of heavy wind and rain. Plus, a suspect in a triple stabbing in Vancouver is now charged with a third count of murder. And
it was done in the middle of the night.
Someone has taken traffic safety into their own hands on a Gulf island. Why?
I understand the frustration.
This is CBC Vancouver News.
Hello, I'm Dan Burritt. Thanks for joining us. A Fraser Valley family has been hit with tragedy. Police confirm someone has died after days of severe weather. That person is a young mother struck and killed by a falling tree while walking with her children in Chilliwack. Yasmin Khanea has our top story.
A growing memorial for a young mother killed by a falling tree limb. A deadly freak accident, the first in a series of severe storms in BC's Fraser Valley.
At this point, there's nothing to indicate that this was anything other than an absolute tragedy.
The victim, 27 years old, described by one of her friends as a great mother, friend, and partner, just out for a walk in a park in Chilliwack Monday afternoon. Police say she was with her two young children who were not hurt.
We saw about 12 officers there and a tree down, and we were asked to leave the park. There's been an issue.
Darren Clark often walks through the park, shocked to learn what happened.
So close to Christmas, I just feel for the family. It's a tough one.
The death took place during a fierce windstorm. Environment Canada says wind gusts reached nearly 70 kilometers per hour.
It was definitely moving through, and it didn't appear where we were in Chilliwack to stay long in one place. So reasonable that somebody would have gone out and it would not have been that windy.
Other parts of the Fraser Valley saw gusts upwards of 100 kilometers per hour. Downed trees and power lines left thousands in the region without power Monday. The Fraser Valley has been inundated with heavy rain for nearly a week, flooding homes and businesses and killing livestock, prompting fears of landslides and more trees falling.
I think really the biggest threat for many areas is going to be the winds coming in behind it as much as anything else. You know, we've got these saturated basins. We've got trees that are now have absolutely water-soaked root systems. And then we put a real good blow of wind on top of them. We've got a chance to see widespread power outages, maybe some tree failures.
The area could see another 70 millimeters of rain by Wednesday morning as a family is left to deal with unimaginable loss.
Yasmin Renea reporting. Now, as we heard, more wind and rain is on its way amid the flood cleanups in the Fraser Valley. The CBC's Benit Braid shares more on the impact of one critical ecosystem and the warnings near riverbanks.
We're here in Chilliwack at the Great Blue Heron Reserve. It's home to hundreds of species of plants and animals. It's also the only part along the Vedder River that doesn't have a dike. And that's actually a benefit to this very unique ecosystem. Take a look at all this sediment.
There's this huge upwelling of nutrients that comes with the river overflowing and the wetlands, releasing all of those nutrients and water that has been stored. And that leaves behind all of these wonderful nutrients that might not have originally been accessible to the animals. So it's actually a really good thing for the plants and animals that live here.
Still, the floodwaters and wind have taken a toll.
Our trails end up getting damaged, so there's a lot of holes and there's damage to bridges, you know, less stability in the soil that happens with this type of flooding event. And you can hear the rain coming down faster and faster as we speak. The trees definitely are more susceptible to heavy winds.
An arborist says tree roots can be especially vulnerable.
Soil is often 50% air. And when the water comes down, it will infiltrate and fill up those air spaces with water. And that creates the loosening effect. A lot of people don't realize many trees in the Lower Mainland, they don't have great tap roots. Unless they have some good adhesion to the soil, that excessive water doesn't allow them to hold, and they can upheave.
Martin says hemlocks and cottonwoods are at higher risk. Officials are reminding people to avoid riverbanks and waterways as more moisture moves in.
A little bit less of a concern than what we've had recently, but we still have very saturated basins out there. So rainfall's definitely on order.
Precautions for the public as ecosystems like this soak in what floodwaters have left behind. Benit Brach, CBC News, Chilliwack.
Darius Madavi's here for a first look at the weather. Lots of rain out there, but changing temperatures.
That's right. Temperatures are falling, which is good news because yesterday, almost 30 locations across southern BC set record high temperatures for December 15th. But these 3 locations, Kamloops, Vancouver, and Victoria, set the highest temperature they've ever recorded in the entire month of December. So this is very unusual, the amount of heat that we've seen. Temperatures in Kamloops this time of year are usually around 0. They were at almost 20 degrees Celsius yesterday. Vancouver hitting almost 16 and Victoria almost 17 degrees, well above normal temperatures. Freezing levels have been very low as a result. We still have flood warnings in place. Hopefully more of that moisture will get locked away in the mountains and we'll see less of it coming down to us. Dan?
Okay. Darius, thanks very much. A third charge of murder has now been laid against a man accused in a triple stabbing in East Vancouver this fall. Viet Quy John Lee was arrested on September 5th and charged with 2 counts of second-degree murder. The same day, the bodies of 2 women were found in an apartment building. A third woman was found injured about 2 blocks from that crime scene. She died on September 11th. Vancouver police say the Crown has now charged Lee with a 3rd count of second-degree murder. The force has said the accused and third victim had previously been married. Lee remains in jail. A new police unit is being set up in Prince George to try to crack down on gang violence. As Hannah Peterson explains, dedicated officers will focus on much of northern BC.
This afternoon marks a very important step in strengthening public safety throughout northern British Columbia.
In front of uniformed officers and city councillors, Public Safety Minister Nina Krieger announced the creation of the North District Uniform Gang Enforcement Team in Prince George.
In recent years, we've seen organized crime groups expanding drug trafficking operations, moving weapons along major corridors and targeting remote communities throughout northern BC. This violence impacts us all. It creates instability, fuels further criminal activity, and brings toxic drugs that continue to harm British Columbians into our communities.
The new 8-officer team will be led by BC's Combined Forces Special Enforcement Unit. Manny Mann is the chief officer of the anti-gang police force.
Northern BC faces unique public safety challenges, being a vast geography, major transportation routes, and organized crime groups actively looking to expand their operations. So establishing a dedicated team in the north will allow us to maintain a visible and sustained presence with stronger community connections and respond more quickly to emerging threats.
He says officers will patrol rural and remote communities and supplement the work of local police with investigations into gang and organized crime activities. The new team is expected to be operational in 2026. Hannah Peterson, CBC News, Prince George.
Someone on a Gulf island near Nanaimo has taken traffic safety into their own hands. They've added more than a dozen barriers on Gabriola Island's notorious Ferry Hill. As Claire Palmer shows us, no one is taking credit just yet.
You may not notice them when you first walk past. White posts wrapped with strips of reflective tape. Delineators on the side of the road on Gabriola Island meant to slow drivers and improve road safety. Something that you may see in your very neighborhood. But for those on the island, it's vigilante traffic justice.
It was done in the middle of the night by somebody here on the island.
These plastic beams popped up overnight last week, with the Regional District of Nanaimo and Ministry of Transportation left to wonder who did it. But those in the community say they know who did it, but they aren't spilling.
We're thankful and we're not ratting anyone out.
Every 40 minutes or so, a ferry arrives on Gabriola Island. With it comes a quick influx of drivers, cyclists, and pedestrians, increasing traffic congestion.
There are no crosswalks, no lights, and often people don't even bother to stop at the stop signs.
Earl is with the Gabriola Transportation Society and has been calling for interventions at the intersection and says that the delineators help visualize the issue.
It's great because it raises the issue. People see it and they think, yes, something needs to be done, and so hopefully something will get done.
Vanessa Craig is the area director with the Regional District of Nanaimo and says she assumed that the ministry had installed them.
I wouldn't encourage people to take things into their own hands, but as I said, I understand the frustration.
In an email, the Ministry of Transportation says it's working to confirm who installed the delineators and that removal is not currently planned, but will be considered if safety or operational issues arise. Craig says that there's a regional district work plan for 2026, and there's still a long way to go before any major upgrades start to happen. Claire Palmer, CBC News, Gabriola.
Environment and Climate Change Canada is committing $20 million to complete what's known as the Kootenay Forest Lands Project. Take a look. It's going to convert 45,000 hectares of land in southeastern BC to a conservation area. The Nature Conservancy of Canada says the goal is to restore ecosystems, among other things.
This investment will help complete the acquisition and long-term protection of key forest lands in the Kootenays, and will restore damaged landscapes, transitioning lands from industrial forestry to conservation-focused management. It will enhance carbon storage, reduce emissions, and build resilience to climate-related risks such as wildfire and flooding.
The project is an initiative from the NCC, local First Nations, and both the federal and provincial governments. Canada's industry minister has approved a merger between Vancouver-based mining giant Teck Resources and Britain's Anglo American. Those two companies are set to become Anglo Teck, a $70 billion copper mining powerhouse. It will be headquartered here in Vancouver and become the largest company in BC history. The deal includes a number of commitments the company needs to meet, though, including spending at least $4.5 billion in Canada within 5 years and keeping it headquartered in this country forever. Thousands of mourners gathering at an impromptu memorial site for the victims of the Bondi Beach shooting, which left 15 people dead and 25 others hospitalized. The investigation is continuing as more details about the suspected attackers emerge. Georgie Smythe is in Sydney.
Being here at this memorial, you truly get the sense that this is a community that is forever changed by what happened here. Bondi, Australia's most famous beach, is a place where people would come to be happy and relaxed, go to the beach or one of the cafes nearby, but this area has become a focal point for a national outpouring of grief and difficult conversations around anti-Semitism and gun violence. All day we've seen people coming here with their family and friends carrying flowers, candles and messages, and there's been a huge outpouring of support for the victims, many of which live in this Bondi area. We've spoken to some people who came down here to just bear witness to the unspeakable violence that took place here a few days ago.
We were all just very shocked, so to come down here is quite special to just see what's happening, because we can't believe it's happening in our country.
It's really nice to see all the people who've come out here, like, no matter the race or like religion or everything. It's just so nice to see Australia come together, like after, this event. It's pretty sad, but, we'll get through it.
A multi-agency investigation is still underway, and we were told that police have found 2 homemade ISIS flags in the vehicle that the 2 gunmen drove to this location. Police continue to believe that this was an ISIS-inspired attack. The 24-year-old man who did survive the attack is in hospital awaiting significant charges. Police also told us that the duo had travelled to the Philippines in the last month, and the Australian public broadcaster is reporting that that was for military training. As for the political response, there's been a lot of criticism for the federal government here for not doing enough to combat anti-Semitism. When it comes to gun control, both the federal and state governments here are vowing to do more.
The consideration that will take place includes limiting the number of guns an individual can own, the type of guns that are legal, whether gun ownership should require Australian citizenship.
It's the same kind of crackdown that happened almost 30 years ago after Australia's deadliest mass shooting, and one that people say didn't go far enough to prevent another tragedy happening here. Georgie Smythe, CBC News, Sydney.
Canada announces new regulations to cut methane emissions. We'll tell you what those are next. The federal government has announced new regulations aimed at cutting methane emissions. As Olivia Stefanovich explains, the goal is to significantly reduce greenhouse gas output.
Just weeks after the federal government backed a potential new bitumen pipeline from Alberta to the West Coast, it's announcing new regulations targeting the most potent major greenhouse gas emitted by the oil and gas industry, methane. These new regulations would ban the intentional release of methane and require inspections to find and repair leaks. But the industry doesn't necessarily have to follow these new rules if they can demonstrate that their facilities meet international methane standards. And if that's the case, operators can come up with their own solutions to reduce methane emissions. So too can provinces, something that the environment minister is defending, as she also pushes back on the suggestion that the government is failing to meet its climate goals.
I will actually push back on the idea that today is about dilly-dallying. In fact, I'm really excited about today because today is actually where we put into action regulations that are going to reduce the methane emissions in our country. It is one of the most important things that we can do and one of the most cost-effective things that we can do.
Ottawa wants to reduce methane emissions in this country by 75% from 2012 levels by 2030. But it's giving provinces wiggle room if they can demonstrate a plan that meets an equivalent standard. For example, Ottawa is working with Alberta on a plan to reduce methane emissions in that province 5 years after the federal target. And along with the fossil fuel industry, the federal government is targeting landfills, which produce a smaller portion of methane emissions. The federal government also says that since methane regulations were first introduced in 2018, the oil and gas industry, its extraction revenues have increased by more than 70%, while Canada has been able to maintain its methane reduction targets. These new enhanced measures take effect starting on January 1st, 2028. Olivia Stefanovich, CBC News, Ottawa.
Donald Trump's tariff war with Canada has dominated this year and caused a lot of anger in this country. For many businesses, it's also created a lot of paperwork to try to avoid costly penalties. The CBC's Chris Ensing visited one American facility where Canadian products are checked for compliance.
At North America's busiest border crossing, thousands of trucks are screened daily. Some are sent into secondary for x-rays. Others unload skids into a Detroit warehouse. U.S. Customs and Border Protection hunting for potential tariff evasion.
And that's what they will be doing, is they'll just say this is an auto part, bypassing the steel tariffs currently.
This company may be incorrectly claiming an exemption under CUSMA instead of the 50% steel tariff. Officials will investigate and could lay an enforcement action. That's the tariff with interest and a fine. The investigation comes down to paperwork that was once a routine task, now a high-risk activity.
If you get them wrong, you need to be able to prove that it was merely administrational oversight and that there was nothing malicious behind the mistake. That's something that's new in the past few months.
Historically, getting paperwork wrong was looked at as an administrative error. A company could face a penalty, but there was no tariff to enforce. Penalties continue at nearly the same rate year over year, but the cost to companies is on the rise.
Mistakes are more dangerous now than they were in the past.
Tariffs have led to layoffs at this Ontario auto parts plant, but the paperwork required for cross-border shipping, it's led to 2 new hires.
Not only is the money, it is the tension, the stress it creates.
Back at the warehouse, between skids, they take calls seeking clarity on complex tariff classifications.
I can find something wrong one day and it's worth like, I don't know, $1,000 in extra duty. But then the next day I get back $2,000 because the law is changing.
An example of the shifting nature of cross-border shipping amid trade uncertainty. Chris Ensing, CBC News, Detroit.
After days of rain, snow has finally arrived at Mount Washington. Darius has your BC-wide forecast coming up. Israel has denied a Canadian delegation that included 6 MPs from entering the occupied West Bank. That trip was organized by a group called the Canadian Muslim Vote. The CBC's Rafi Boudjikanian has more from Jerusalem.
By now, this delegation of 30 Canadians, including 6 members of parliament, was supposed to be wrapping up their day in Jerusalem. Instead, they found themselves having to go back to Jordan after they were denied entry into the occupied West Bank through the Allenby crossing point from Jordan and then on into Israel. The National Council of Canadian Muslims, which has representation in the wider group, calls this an outrage.
This is just further proof that under this government, Israel is neither our friend nor our ally, nor shares our values.
We have to ask the question, what is it that the Israeli government is trying to hide, or the information that they don't want us to receive on the ground?
The group's now cancelled plans included a visit to the occupied West Bank to meet with displaced Palestinians, as well as meetings with officials of the Palestinian Authority, the body which in part administers the swath of land. This denial of entry into the West Bank and into Israel comes at a time of heightened tensions between Canada and Israel. Canada being one of the Western countries that recognized the Palestinian state back in September at the United Nations General Assembly. Nevertheless, Israel says the reason the group was rejected was because of a lack of prior coordination before trying to come here. Rafi Boudjikanian, CBC News, Jerusalem.
It is always nice to have a bit more money during the holidays, and some people who live in Ontario, close to Quebec, have come up with a rather novel way to do that. Sarah Levitt looks at how different provincial recycling programs have led to a small cash bonanza.
Quebec's soda and can return system is the envy of Canada. Well, at least Ontarians. 10 to 25 cents for returning soda cans, plastic bottles, and beer bottles. But here in Grenville, Quebec, it's become so popular because people across that bridge in Ontario are taking advantage of it. Employees at this store have seen it happen. They don't pay a deposit in Ontario, she says, so it's advantageous for them to bring their stuff here. In Ontario, consumers really only get back their deposit on alcoholic beverages. So let's say you buy a Pepsi in Ontario, but come to Quebec to return it, that nets you 10 whole cents. That's what Serge Miron does about 3 times a week. So where are you from?
Hawkesbury.
Hawkesbury, okay. So tell me what you're doing.
Pick up some can and I bring it here to make money.
As of March, Quebec expanded its return system to include plastic containers that weren't only soft drinks. In the coming years, it'll also incorporate all glass containers as well as cartons. The nonprofit Consigne Action, which manages the system, says, of course, there are growing pains.
The way that we identify the containers is through a barcode. Barcode is per country, so I can tell, our system can tell if the container comes from the US, it will be rejected. But if it comes from somewhere across Canada, I can't tell the difference.
There's no legislation right now that forbids somebody from another province from getting the deposit in Quebec. In Grenville, Quebecers don't seem too worried about the phenomenon.
Good for her.
Not a problem?
No problem.
That's what you get. If you have the luck to do it, you do it.
Miron says he'll continue to get his extra $100 a week as long as he can. Sarah Levitt, CBC News, Grenville, Quebec.
Christmas and other holiday feasts are fast approaching, but those meals may be more expensive as food prices keep climbing, especially meat. So we thought we would try and give you some ideas for more affordable cuts to put on your table this year, depending on what you celebrate. And who better than someone who teaches the culinary arts? Tobias McDonald is a culinary arts instructor at Vancouver Community College. He's also one of only 5 certified master chefs in Canada. Chef, appreciate you being here. The obvious traditional choices, turkey and ham, particularly around Christmas, those prices are still climbing. What are some other affordable options that you look at?
As far as turkey, I think a great option. There's something called a utility turkey, which is a turkey that's been maybe damaged a little bit in processing. It could be missing a wing. It could have a little tear in the skin. You don't get the beautiful Norman Rockwell painting when you're carving it on the table, but it tastes the same. It's beautiful. As far as I'm concerned with turkey, the best thing you can possibly do is give it a little bit of brine and take it apart before you cook it anyway. So that would be my recommendation if you want to go for turkey and save a little bit of money. Some other great options, you know, prime rib roast, people love, but it's quite pricey. Little bit lesser known beef cuts. There's one called the Delmonico steak, which is, I'm going to say it's about 80% is, well, 80 to 90% as good as a ribeye or a prime rib. It's actually the same muscle group, but it's further into the shoulder and it's significantly less expensive. That's a good option.
What about something like a flat iron steak?
Flat iron, beautiful. A lot of these butcher's cuts, you know, you're not likely to find it at the local grocery store. You might have to go to an honest to goodness butcher and talk to them. But yeah, flat iron steak, I think also wonderful, very reasonably priced. Sirloin cap, also very, very beautiful, reasonably priced for what it is, I think. One of my personal favorites is it's called the hanger steak or hanging tender, sometimes it's called as well. It's a lesser known cut. It's if you're familiar with skirt steak, it's kind of similar in texture to that. It's very tender. It's got a nice open grain. It's got beautiful marbling, lots of flavor. And again, it's quite reasonably priced for what it is.
So if those cuts of meat are not readily available in the grocery store and you go to the butcher, any strategies for asking for that different but more affordable cut?
I think if you're straight up and you talk to them and you say, hey, what do you have that's beautiful, that's a little bit less expensive, I think they'll hook you up with what they have that's ready to go. Because honestly, a big factor with beef as well is the age that it is. And if your butcher can get you one that's been aged properly, sometimes a lesser cut that's been well taken care of is going to be more tender than a more expensive cut that's not ready to go.
I have to ask you, as one of only 5 certified master chefs in Canada, what is your family going to do for Christmas, and will you be put upon to cook the main meal?
Well, not this year. I'm traveling to Japan with my family, so we're gonna go Japanese style and enjoy something a little bit different.
That is awesome. Sounds like a fabulous trip. Tobias McDonald from Vancouver Community College's Culinary Arts Department. Enjoy your trip. Thanks for all the great advice.
Thank you so much for having me. Really appreciate it.
Looking back at the weather stories of 2025, from drought to fires to storms, we're going to speak with 2 meteorologists on opposite coasts about what they were tracking. Stick around.
So I know when I really like a song, if within the first 3 seconds, I'm already vibing to it.
Hey, I'm Rohith Joseph. Vibin' is the new show all about discovering great new songs and fresh artists from across BC and beyond.
It's not one person dictating what good music is, it's the community sharing what good music is.
Stream Vibin' on CBC Listen.
Federal officials were showcasing Canada's National School Food Program to students and staff at Como Lake Middle School in Coquitlam earlier today.
Most key impact is it allows kids to feel happy and nourished throughout the day. And when they feel happy and nourished throughout the day, they are able to learn better.
If I have breakfast, I would feel more hyped up and I would have more energy to learn at school and have fun.
The National School Food Program represents a $1 billion investment over 5 years. It aims to provide healthy meals to 400,000 more kids across the country. Just over $7 million was allocated for BC this school year. Research shows access to nutritious meals improves attendance, academic performance, and overall well-being. To sports now, just 10 days before the cross-country skiing Olympic trials were set to begin in Prince George, they've been moved to the Okanagan because of a lack of snow. That's left volunteers scrambling to set up the course. And an even bigger challenge, making sure officials could still test for banned substances in sliding sports.
Alpine, right, freestyle, snowboard, and of course Nordic. And it's trying to determine if an athlete is using a substance that's a fluoride compound for glide. It's a water repellent chemical that has been basically banned now for about 6 years.
Bill says floor testing is relatively new for the Sovereign Lake Nordic Club. The substance helps skis glide, but it also causes damage to human and the environment. 2025 is coming to an end, but it was quite the year when it came to weather. Here in BC, we've had many weather stories, and we're still enduring them, from floods to wind and rain. Our friends at What on Earth spoke with two meteorologists from opposite coasts to talk about the stories that impacted the weather this year.
There was no shortage of stories this year that demonstrate just how significantly human-caused climate change is affecting our weather. So, Ryan, I want to start with you and the situation in Atlantic Canada. Can you tell us about what happened there this year?
We had a really, really bad season, the worst, as you mentioned, on record for Newfoundland and Labrador, where 18,000 hectares burned in Newfoundland and Labrador. The largest fire was near Conception Bay North. Hundreds of people were evacuated. There were dozens of home loss. There was another fire that was near St. John's. There were fires in New Brunswick, Miramichi, areas near Miramichi had to be evacuated. And of course, here in my home province of Nova Scotia, coming off the heels of what was a really, really bad fire season in 2023. So we were already kind of on edge. And then, of course, the drought got worse and worse. The government actually took a bit of criticism at the time and banned all activity in the woods. You couldn't go in the woods, you couldn't go hiking. Ultimately, it was a lightning strike that caused the fire near Long Lake, which burned to near 8,000 hectares, destroyed 20 homes, and forced 1,000 people to evacuate.
And as you say, the word that links all of that together is drought. How did 2025 compare to recent years?
British Columbia has had a rough sort of 5-year period where we're breaking these all-time numbers, and so we were still well above seasonal for fire starts. We had fewer fire starts than the past couple of years, but we still managed to burn over 886,000 hectares.
And in the rest of Western Canada?
This is where we really saw the fire season start, early in Manitoba and Saskatchewan. In fact, by mid-June, it was the fires in Manitoba, particularly around Flin Flon, that led to thousands of people being evacuated. It was by mid-June that already authorities were saying this was likely going to be the worst, second worst fire season ever on record for the country. So we were making that call at the beginning of the season because of those fires in Manitoba and Saskatchewan that virtually burnt for the entire season. And it was those fires that also led to the smoke that we saw through most of the country.
And this year, Hurricane Melissa quickly became a ferocious storm that battered Jamaica. Can you take us through what happened there?
The stats from Melissa really are incredible. It underwent, of course, rapid intensification from a tropical storm to a Category 5 in just hours, right? And you think about what ultimately led to that. So just absolutely exceptional heat, ocean heat that the storm passed through waters with sea surface temperatures that were near 30 degrees. So that's about 1.5 degrees above average. But what made this storm a little bit different was how deep that water, that warm ocean water was. There was, and actually I should mention this stat, these warm ocean conditions were estimated to be 500 to 900 times more likely due to human-caused climate change. Wow. We now know it became the third most intense Atlantic hurricane on record, as well as the most intense on record at landfall in the Atlantic Basin.
Johanna, you had your eye on the Philippines,
yes,
which has been hit by a number of typhoons this year. Can you tell us about the situation there?
Almost all of the typhoons that hit the Philippines went through this rapid intensification process. We had 14 typhoons in the Eastern Pacific Basin. 13 out of the 14 hit the Philippines. And these names probably ring a bell to people, following the news over the past year. Typhoon Ragasa, strongest storm of the year early in the season, followed by Typhoon Kalmegi, followed by Typhoon Fangwang, hitting the Philippines over and over again before they had a chance to recover.
Okay, we were talking about extremes, fast-moving fires, powerful storms. But Ryan, what have you seen in the past year that kind of illustrates some of the slower-moving shifts?
Really, insects come to mind more than anything.
Gosh.
We had a brutal summer here with Japanese beetles, which, as I have learned, are flourishing now because we just don't get the cold in the wintertime here. They're surviving through the winter season, and they were wreaking havoc on my garden and numerous other gardens here in Nova Scotia. And don't get me started on ticks.
Oh boy, that is a serious problem though, isn't it?
Every time I take the dog for a walk in the woods, we come home and it's a tick check, and I've pulled, just over the last few weeks, I've pulled 4 or 5 ticks off my dog. So
wow.
They're getting worse, and it is again directly linked to our warmer winters here, which are those cold winters used to wipe the ticks out. That's just not happening anymore.
Okay, you guys are sharing all of your great intelligence with us, but now I want to talk about artificial intelligence, generative AI. It's such a big story this year.
So AI is the fastest moving tool in our toolbox. And I think 2025 was really the year that weather agencies tested it in real time. The European model, one of our favorites, Ryan and I, has started integrating AI. The National Hurricane Center, this was the year they tested it alongside. I don't think that AI will ever fully replace physics-based models yet. They're always going to need something to learn off of, but they will certainly augment and improve them, in my opinion.
And as Johanna said, processing so quickly, now instead of picking, we got a snowstorm coming in, instead of picking between 2 or 3 models, now we are going to have 4, 5, 6, 7 models. I'm not sure that makes my job any easier.
Ryan, Johanna, I want you to think about a good news weather or climate story that you think we should know about. Ryan, let's start with you.
Well, I struggled with this one, to be honest. Looking at a good news climate story, I think really I come back to, we've had so many big storms and so many disasters here in the Maritimes and across Atlantic Canada over the last couple of years. But if there's a little bit of good news that I could gather from that, it would be that I've really seen how communities are coming together in the face of climate change and in the face of extreme weather.
Well, I've got a tangible one, and it's a new one too. So this year, Antarctic's ozone hole was the smallest and shortest lived since 2019. So a clear sign that layer is slowly recovering. Satellite data shows that hole is forming later, closing earlier, and this is all, of course, the effects of banned ozone depleting chemicals. So we're continuing to see that fade. And this is your annual reminder that global policy does work. Of course, these chemicals don't stay as long in the atmosphere as a CO2, but a reminder that policy can turn the dial.
I thank you both, CBC meteorologist Johanna Wagstaff in Vancouver and Ryan Snodden in Halifax. Thank you for joining us.
You're welcome.
Thanks for having us.
The Weather Update is brought to you by BC Cancer Foundation. Give today to bring more progress and possibilities to patients and their families. Your donation changes everything.
Darius Madavi, our science and climate specialist, here with the BC-wide weather forecast and a very changing weather picture. My goodness.
That's right. We're seeing more snow start to accumulate in many areas as freezing levels fall across BC. That's partly because of the lack of warm air coming in from the atmospheric river, which has dipped down south, and also from more northern areas, especially around Prince George, Arctic air coming down. So as we get into tomorrow around Prince George, our temperatures are just going to keep falling. They're not going to hit a low tonight and go back up. Just going to keep going down until we reach around the -6 or so mark. This is the avalanche danger map, and I wanted to start with this because of all the warm air that we've had lately. A lot of the mountains, a lot of the snowpack has become quite unstable. So most avalanche terrain right now is very dangerous. Now, there are a few places like here on the coast where the avalanche danger isn't actually that high right now because there's so little snow. But as we start to see very quickly accumulating snowpack in some of these areas, will start to become more and more of a problem. And that is what we're going to see. As more moisture continues to stream in, we see less and less green on this map, meaning rain, and more blue, meaning snow. So for places, especially in the eastern parts of the Fraser Valley and up on the North Shore Mountains, big dumps of snow, as much as a full meter of snow coming to the North Shore Mountains by Friday. So that's a lot coming there. We also have more heavy rain coming through the overnight hours into tomorrow. As we get into later tomorrow, we'll start to see a bit of a break. And then in the evening, another wave of rain returns. But again, more and more of that coming down as snow, meaning that moisture is being locked away in the snowpack instead of running down and further exacerbating any flooding issues. A lot of river levels have started to fall, and the forecasts are looking better there, so that's a little bit of good news as well. We are going to see some heavy snow moving through parts of the central interior around Prince George, as well as some winter storm-like conditions happening in the southern interior, especially along those mountain passes. 25 to 35 centimeters of snow for the Coquihalla today through tomorrow, so keep an eye on that. Like I said, temperatures are falling pretty dramatically, especially in some places like the far north. The central interior is going to see temperatures continue to drop through the weekend, and by the end of the weekend, looking at -25 or so, well below normal for places like Prince George. -25 is our high, very unusual. Again, more and more snow coming. This was previously virtually nothing for the South Coast. It was all falling as rain, so a little bit of good news there. But the Fraser Valley, unfortunately, those totals still looking pretty high over the next 48 hours. Conditions across the province tomorrow, Dan, looks like we're going to get a fair amount of sunshine in some places. And in terms of a 5-day forecast, a little bit of sunshine peeking through tomorrow, but more rain is on the way. And then that higher elevation snowfall really starts to move in Friday and into the weekend.
Okay. Darius, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Growing concerns about coastal erosion putting PEI lighthouses at risk. Some, but not all, can be protected. That story after this.
Hi, I'm Amy Bell, and this is your CBC Inbox.
CBC is a returning partner of the Push International Performing Arts Festival, January 22nd to February 8th. The festival features presentations of groundbreaking contemporary works of theater, dance, music, and multimedia. And ring in the new year with CBC. Watch a special live broadcast on New Year's Eve on CBC Gem, CBC TV, and the CBC News BC streaming channel. Coverage begins at 5 p.m.
Lighthouses are an iconic part of Prince Edward Island, but many of them are facing an uncertain future because of climate change. The shorelines are changing, and some of those lighthouses will be very hard to save. Sheehan Desjardins reports.
This is one of 6 lighthouses that the province says is at high risk because of factors like coastal erosion. It sits on sand too, making it particularly difficult to protect, and you can see just how close it is to the ocean.
I am very concerned that eventually it'll get washed away, and it's 150 or will be 150 years old. So we want to protect this heritage site as long as we can. And how do we do that is the biggest thing.
This area looks much different since post-tropical storm Fiona dismantled it in 2022.
You can see where the sand was and has gone, just kind of drifted away.
The beach is smaller now, so are the dunes, leaving the lighthouse exposed.
The natural recovery of those coastlines can be unsustainable. We really need to have regular monitoring and design appropriate protection plan to make sure the lighthouse won't be threatened.
There's no one-size-fits-all solution either. The province says the high-risk lighthouses are dealing with multiple problems at the same time, like flood zones or serious erosion, and are in immediate danger if nothing is done. The moderate high-risk ones are in trouble too. It's just not as critical yet. Most of these face north or east, the first to be hit when powerful storms roll in.
This is known as the oldest lighthouse on PEI. It's really close to the water too, but because of all of the work that's gone into protecting the coast, the province says it's low risk for now.
So far, our bank is being preserved. We started with 9 acres. Now we only have 3.2 left. So if you did the math over the years, I have a feeling that our lighthouse would be gone by now.
She painted this after a big storm years ago. The cliffs kept crumbling away.
And you can see the tangled mess of roots and how close it is.
Because the lighthouse is brick, it can't be moved like other ones. Instead, they added cement and all these giant stones. It's expensive, but she says they got funding and it's working well.
Eventually, these sand dunes will be gone. It's just that simple.
A rock wall here, though, isn't a great option. Scott McEwen says they have some short-term ideas. Unfortunately, there aren't many fixes long-term.
It dates back to 1865, the original building on it, so it's incredibly important to preserve a piece of our history and celebrate it.
The group that takes care of this lighthouse doesn't have any set plans for its future yet, but if it's between moving it or watching it get swept away, relocation might have to be the answer. Sheehan Desjardins, CBC News, St. Peter's Harbor.
Thank you for being with us tonight on CBC Vancouver News at 6. You can watch this newscast on CBC Gem, our free app, as well as on YouTube, and of course our website, cbc.ca/BC. We will have your next local news at 11 o'clock, right after the National. See you then.